You were there in Germany when Prabhupada spoke about?
Yes.
Can you maybe comment a little bit on
Well,
that?
as far as I'm aware, he talked about, on the morning walk, he talked about Varnasrama-Dharma.
He spoke about?
Varnasrama-Dharma. He said, now we have to start Varnasrama-Dharma. He said, and so far I have done.
Right.
But he said, there's more work to do. And as far as I remember, he said 50% of my work has been done. Now you have to do the rest. And he wanted to install some sort of Varnasrama-Dharma college. He was very aware of it. And Hansa Dutta picked it up. He wanted to do that. Prabhupada was talking about Varnasrama-Dharma all the time, even before he came to Germany in 74.
You remember hearing him say 50%?
As far as I remember, he said it.
Okay.
I always had it in my mind that somebody said, Prabhupada said, yes, I heard it.
Right. And Prabhupada wanted
I can find out, I can ask Hansa Dutta about it. I'm in contact with him.
That'd be nice. Yeah. Because sometimes some devotees question that it's not written.
I'll find out.
But there are many things that are not written.
That's true.
Yeah, that is true.
But it was very clear this was on Prabhupada's mind. He talked about Varnasrama-Dharma all the time.
Yes.
He walked over the field, he said, this is great ground, buy it immediately.
Yes.
He wanted to know whether we can have cows. He was always asking about cows. He was talking about Varnasrama-Dharma. Throughout his books, if you read his books, you can't miss it.
So this Krishna consciousness movement is trying to re-establish Daiva Varnasram, where Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, everyone, systematic. We are therefore proposing to start a college, Varnasram college. It is proposed, we are trying so many things, but this is also one of the program that the people of the world, they should be educated according to the quality and worth. Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra.
How to convince temple presidents in your cities on this point?
It's very difficult. You see, it's easier to convince people who come from traditional families. If there's some foundation there. But if people come from Western type, means really dysfunctional families, it will be very difficult for them to understand the concept of culture.
Yes.
Because they never experience in their own home.
Right.
Most families in Western countries are dysfunctional families. The roles are not defined. The mother is running the family or something, or the mother is terrorizing. And so the children who come out of these families, they don't have role models in terms of fathers and mothers. Consequently, they don't have a deep understanding, gut feeling for traditional families. They don't have that, or traditional society, or traditional conservative culture. They don't have it because they were raised in havoc.
Yes.
And so you can be pretty sure that people push anything outside of Varnasrama-Dharma, that they come from dysfunctional families. That's my conclusion. That they have never, they didn't have a traditional home. Where a mother is a mother and a wife, and the father is a father and the husband. And that's missing. We shouldn't be surprised that they cannot relate to traditional concepts.
Right.
It goes way into the family.
Yes.
Like my father always said, if you marry a woman, you should look at her mother. If you understand the mother, you can understand your future wife.
Yes.
It's very simple, because she is trained accordingly. So it's very difficult to infuse the concept of Varnasrama-Dharma or traditional culture in people's mind who are untrained, who don't have a foundation, a family foundation.
We don't have that traditional background.
Yeah, that's what it is. The family tradition, once it is destroyed, then very difficult to get back. And so we have a large amount of people in our society who come from dysfunctional families.
Yes.
And that's why feminism is at a rise, and all these concepts are coming out of this.
In 1975. In 1974.
He came to Germany in 74, and before that Hamsaruta was talking, I know this because he said we have to divide our temple in Kshatriyas, in Brahmins, etc. It was artificial, it was an immature understanding, but he was completely into it.
Okay.
You know,
Yes.
Many of German devotees were starting to wear earrings because they were Kshatriyas. And Prabhupada said, well, that doesn't mean you're a Kshatriya because you're wearing earrings. He said that when he came for a visit.
Okay.
You know? So this went on in the last months leading up to Prabhupada. The Varnasrama College was something on Hamsaduta's mind, which he got after visiting Prabhupada, I think in London.
Okay.
That's 74. Sorry.
And is it also true that Prabhupada wanted every one of our ISKCON temples to have farm communities?
I don't know. I'm not aware that there was a practical plan how to do that.
Okay.
I was not aware. He just talked about the concept.
The concept.
From what I remember.
Right.
You know, how to do it. I don't think there was a concept there.
Okay.
Not to my knowledge.
Right.
It may have been there, but I didn't get it.
Okay.
You know.
Right. Well, I understood that Prabhupada wanted that each temple within a 50-kilometer radius. There are some references to that, actually.
When I was just on this one morning walk where we talked about Varnasrama-Dharma. You know, as far as I remember, this line was spoken. You know, 50% of my work is finished. Now you have to do the rest. You know? And so it's really up to us to do it.
Good.
You know, we have been chickening out since.
We want a stronghold of this culture, and I think it will be possible. Daiva Varnasrama. There must be first-class Brahmins, first-class Kshatriyas, first-class Vaishyas, and first-class Shudras. Not my idea. The whole world will see the real culture.
So this campaign I'm mentioning, we call it the Sri Surabhi campaign because the basis of our Vedic culture are cows, naturally. So we have all over the world kind of become very less aware or connected with cows. Probably people have to come to a place like India.
I mean, we have in Berlin, we have 95,000 vegans. So 95,000 vegans, 50% are vegans out of ethical reasons. They would love to drink cow's milk if they knew it comes from ahimsa farms. And they don't believe somebody selling ahimsa milk unless he's a Hare Krishna.
Right.
Because they know that even if somebody claims to have ahimsa, they know when the cow is getting old, he's going to sell it.
Yeah.
But he knows we can't do it because it's against our religion. So we're the only people who can actually produce certified ahimsa products. We could produce cheese for them, yogurt for them. They would pay any price because most of them are well-to-do people.
Right.
You know, they're coming from the upper crust of society, becoming vegans. And we could make so much money, endless money, just by having ahimsa milk, ahimsa products.
Dharma samasthapak.
Can you explain briefly your understanding of A1 and A2 category milk?
Well, you know, originally the concept was that there's good milk and bad milk. The good milk is A1 and the bad milk is A2. This is how they started off. That the European milk is the best, coming from Friesian cows, Holstein cows. Therefore, that's A1. And then the lesser breed are the Indians and all these. They call them A2 milk.
And lo and behold, it's the opposite.
But then lo and behold, they found out, coming from New Zealand, that actually the casein in the Western milk is wrongly poured. I don't know the chemical, but casein is the main part of cow's milk. And it leads to coronary diseases, less type of diseases. So when I went to Chitrakoot, I stayed in this ashram there. There's a Baba there. He has 32 cow races, Indian cow races, completely financed by the Tata Foundation. And he told me that when he looks at the Western cow, he said, these are not cows. He said, they're cows, but something, they're crossbred. He said, I think they're crossbred with pigs. This was way before I heard about A1, A2. He said, they are manipulated. They're not real cows. So what I do know is that the old races, which are supposed to be lesser, A2 are actually the best milk. Because you see, when you see the discussion between Prabhupada and the professor said to Prabhupada, the cow's milk is bad. He said, we have so much evidence in Western countries by now that we can prove it is not good for the system. And Prabhupada said, how can it be bad? Krishna made the cow. Whatever he does is perfect. Both are right. Prabhupada was talking about A2 milk, the traditional cow. He was talking about the Holstein cow.
Both are right.
You know what I mean? Both are right.
Yeah.
He talks about a milk which is degenerated,
Yes.
which is rubbish, which causes so much diseases, and he probably was talking about genuine milk, which must be healthy because it's produced by Krishna. And now scientists find out that actually the A2 milk. And I was encountering this when I had a farm in Ireland. I bought the original cow, the Celtic cow, the Kerry cow, which is a dark cow. It's thousands of years old. The milk is not so much, but it's high quality milk. Everybody told us the best milk you can get.
Yes.
And the lady from the Cow Society, Kerry Cow Cattle Society, she told me that even people who are allergic to milk, and generally they can take our milk. Normally they can only drink goat milk. But now we find out that goat milk is also A2 milk, by the way. It's A2. So now I can understand. She said something has to do with the globals, but it has to do with A1, A2. Because the goats are A2 and the Kerry cow is A2. It's an ancient race. It's thousands of years old. So that's actually the milk we should get. We should get traditional. It doesn't have to be necessarily the Indian cow, but we should go back to the original races.
Yes.
And Mediterranean cows are known to be A2. That's why they have it. It's not because it's a Mediterranean diet. It's because they have a more traditional cow, a more ancient cow. Probably the milk is A2.
Yes.
You see, all the old races, and we should all go back to the old races.
Right.
Somehow or other, because then we know we get the right milk, and it's easy. You just send a couple of hair to the institute in New Zealand for $25. Within 1 week you have the answer, whether it's A1 or A2.
But does anyone know, has everyone found out why milk became A1?
It has to do with, I think it's genetical engineering. There's some sort of engineering took place, some crossbreeding.
That took place a long time back.
Long time back. You know, when, because, I mean, in Europe, in the 16th, 17th century, you had a cow which is called the Auerochse, which is the old race. And they are very hairy, and they're very dark, they have huge horns. This is a German cow. And it's completely disappeared. You know, and now you have, since hundreds of years, it's not anymore available. Now you have only these Frisians, and when you look at them, this Baba in Chitrakoot said, this is not how a cow looks to me.
Right.
You know? So we don't know how the demons did it, but the demons know how to get the utmost out of something. You know, they're very exploitive, and so the whole way how the whole culture is in Western countries is based on exploitation. They created a cow race which can be easily exploited for milk. You know, quantity rather than quality.
But as you mentioned earlier, now New Zealand are having a plan to actually come back to the original.
It is in Australia. You can already buy A2 milk. It's on the package. It's A2 milk.
Yes.
And they're reorganizing their cattle all over in New Zealand and Australia, because they're the most advanced countries.
Correct.
And I heard that the European milk industry is aware of it by now, but they don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Because they want to have the quantity.
Right.
You know? That's what I know. So the A1 milk, which was supposed to be superior milk, turns out to be the worst milk. The A2, which was supposed to be just from the indigenous poverty cow, is actually the perfect milk.
Hey Radhe, Braj Devi ke chal, Hey Nanda Suna Kuta.